I'm not Slayer9, and this is everyone's favorite series of videos. You know them, you love them, that's right, it's Car Vlogs 2, baby! And with today, this, shit, I gotta hit the close. Oh, hey, it's raining. I gotta hit the fucking close thing. Come on, close the garage. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Would it work better if I put it vertical, maybe in the passenger seat? No, but then you don't get to see the sky, and it's like the entire deal. Yeah, that works. Alright. I'm your host, Not Slayer49, guy with a car and employment. And I'd just like to announce, it's already been announced, but I'd just like to say fucking Risk of Rain 2 coming to Switch. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be fun. I was concerned about performance, but turns out I've been testing debug builds this entire time, and the performance improvement from debug to release is pretty significant. So that's beside the point. That's irrelevant. Risk of Rain 2 coming to Switch. Like I mentioned before, I work for a company that ports games from PC to console. The project that I've been working on, the only one that I've been working on, I've only been there for like a month now, a month and a half actually. It's getting close to be 2 months. I started literally on the fucking beginning of July. So it's fucking like August 20-something. What is it? I think it's August 21st, because the new interludes in Fate Grand Order came out. A whole bunch of new interludes. I gotta do those. They got fucking Arjuna. I don't have Arjuna. They got others. They got Billy Kid. I got Billy Kid. I have Billy Kid Max Ascended. He's pretty good. You know, whenever you need a quick archer, you just sort of bring him. That's the thing, you know, you gotta level up your 3-star servants, right? If you only level up your 4 and 5-star servants, then, yeah, like, on average, you're gonna do well. But then if you ever need, you know, if you're ever fighting a tough boss, right, and maybe one of your main servants dies, then you got no backup. Because your fucking party doesn't have enough space in it for all your high-cost servants. You know, you gotta have some lower-cost servants, like Billy Kid. Or, might I suggest, the best save... What? Okay, there's like a construction guy standing in the middle of the road. Or might I suggest the best saber in the game? Oh. I'm sorry, there's a bunch of construction guys in the middle of the road, and they were just sort of standing around. Anyway, best saber in the game is Bedivere. That's the moral of the story. I really should grail him. The issue is that I am perpetually out of grails from grailing fucking Medusa to 100. I just recently grailed Gorgon to 100. I got Tamamo Cat to 90. I got fucking Jean, not Jolter, just regular Jean, to fucking 94. I grailed Jean before I realized who I really wanted to grail. So it's just like, I got grails, I grailed Jean. And then I did, and I kind of regret it. You know, not that I dislike Jean or anything. She's one of my small handful of Bond 10 servants. But, you know, like, all she does is do art stall. You know what I'm saying? She's not a terribly fun servant to use, is what I'm trying to get at here. Like, there are some servants that are super fun to use. They got all sorts of crazy abilities, they got all sorts of crazy fucking gimmicks. And then Jean is just, you know, I got a bunch of NP gain and some of the worst fucking skills in the entire game. But, you know, never fucking dies, and can just regularly negate an entire turn's worth of damage. Unless it's from Rangominiad. At which point, Like, if you're fighting fucking Sable Lancer, then you're just fucked in general. Cause you go to fight her, and it's like, oh boy, Saber Lancer, how you doing? And then she's all like, Rongo Miniato, and then you're like, oh, it's okay, I have invincibility. Oh, it pierces invincibility. Well, at that point, there's fucking nothing you can do about that. You're just fucked. You're just absolutely fucked. And that, I think, is one of the main reasons why you never really fight Sable Lancer as a fucking boss, just because she's got ignore invincibility on her NP. She can just fucking, you're just all like, oh, fucking Lumio stay eternal or whatever the fuck, and then she's all like, God ain't real, and then spears you, and you're all dead. You're all fucking dead. And that's why you bring MASH. Because level up your MASH, by the way, if you're playing Fate Grand Order. Fucking level up your MASH. She is exceptionally useful in virtually all circumstances. She's got zero cost. Fucking fantastic. You know, she can divert hits to herself. She's got a targetable fucking invincibility. Who has a targetable invincibility? Fucking no one. Except MASH does. And her fucking damage cut ability, oh, so good. You pop your damage cut ability, you pop her fucking Noble Phantasm, and then it doesn't even matter that Rongo Bongo's got fucking ignore invincibility. You don't need invincibility, you're just negating so much fucking damage that you take no damage. That's a lie, you still take a lot of damage. But no one dies. That's the most important part. No one dies. Alright? That's the difficult part when you're facing those fucking bosses with the AoE Noble Phantasms. You know? Is that people die a lot. But not fucking MASH. The issue is that MASH, it doesn't have any class affinity with anybody. So, you know, you bring her along to fight fucking Booby Lancer or whatever, and, like, it works out pretty well, except she takes full damage from all attacks. Because she's not weak to anything, but she doesn't resist anything either, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Moral of the story is, I got a new phone. I may have said this already. I don't remember what I have and haven't said. I got a new phone. It's a OnePlus 7 Pro. I got that with the fucking first paycheck that I ever got from my work here. I got a OnePlus 7 Pro. Everything about it is great. I fucking hate the tagline. It's just, all the marketing and all the shit is just so fucking pretentious. Like, you go onto the website and it's all like, OnePlus, never settle. They send you the fucking phone, it's got stickers on it. There's a huge ass OnePlus sticker, even though you already have a little OnePlus logo on the back of the phone. You gotta fucking never settle stickers. You can put that in the back of your phone or whatever. It's like, oh, never settle. It's like, okay, bruh. You're a fucking Chinese phone company. Stop. I mean, it's good. It's a good phone. That's the reason why I got it. The quality is very high. I would almost give the fucking pretentious-ass tagline to them for free. Except, I don't care. It's raining, by the way. It's very cloudy. It's one of those classic Seattle days where there isn't really a sky as much as there is just a flat gray color. You know? Sort of like you made a new default Unity scene and you forgot to set the skybox. So it's just clearing the, you know, the default 128, 128, 128 color. Half gray. Yeah, that's the skybox right now. It's like someone fucking turned the Earth graphics settings to low. Because there's no fucking skybox. It's just cloudy as shit out, so there basically aren't any shadows. It's just really bad. Fun fact, if it's raining out and it's cloudy as shit, then that means that the fucking, that guy is swoosing on out. That means that the fucking, so when it's really cloudy out, clouds diffuse sunlight, or is it diffuse? I don't know, I've heard some people say diffuse, but part of me hates that. Fucking, so clouds diffuse sunlight, right? So like, light comes in a single direction, And then once it enters the cloud, it bounces around in all sorts of crazy random-ass fashions, and then ends up... It doesn't really split, but on average, if you aggregate a bunch of individual photons coming in from a single direction, they split up and go off in basically every direction uniformly. Right? That's what diffuse is. Light goes in a single direction, bounces around like fucking madness, and then exits in every direction, basically. I don't know if it's actually every direction. It's every direction enough that we cannot tell at the scale that we exist at. Anyway, so because of that, because we no longer have light coming in from a single direction, rather we've got pretty uniform light coming in from every direction on the hemisphere above us, suddenly shadows don't really exist anymore. The only shadows that you get are sort of ambient shadows that are the result of blocking out, large chunks of that hemisphere, right? So as you hold your hand closer to the ground, for any given point, from that point of view, large chunks of the fucking hemisphere are blocked out, is basically what it boils down to. And that's ambient lighting, that's ambient occlusion. That's what we're trying to simulate when you turn screen space ambient occlusion on. It's the good shit. It's very slow. It's very slow, but it's the good shit. It makes stuff look nice. Soft lighting in Minecraft, I think, is a completely different thing. I'm pretty sure soft lighting in Minecraft is just straight up, like, for each point on the box, or rather each point on that side of a box, it just sort of does an approximate calculation of how much occlusion there is based on fucking, I don't know, based on like how close the nearest faces are, you know what I mean? And then it just sort of blends those together from point to point. So it only does, if you have a block that has 5 of the 6 faces exposed, it's doing like 20 lighting calculations. And that's not that much. It's only doing it on a per vertex basis, and then it just sort of blends those across. Anyway, moral of the story is, Risk of Rain 2 coming for Switch. That's what I've been working on. That's what I'm gonna be working on. I'm going in. It's gonna be good. That's the moral of the story. Now you might look at the reveal trailer, and you might say, Alex, they didn't show anyone aside from Popul Games and Gearbox Publishing, and Nintendo, because it was the Nintendo trailer. And you'd be right. I don't know what the deal is. I guess publishing companies don't get their logo popping up. Not publishing companies. Gearbox Publishing did get their logo popping up. I mean, the friggin' porting companies. The other P word involved in porting a game. Porting and publishing. Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. I'm not just saying that like, yeah, it's the game I'm working on, please buy it. No, I'm saying like, genuinely, I came into this, I was talking to my boss, I was talking to Tom about like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna go in, there's gonna be a fun time, it's gonna be a great time, and then he was all like, yeah, we got some stuff we got you to work on in Risk of Rain 2, and then I'm just all like, what the hell is a Risk of Rain 2? And then I'm working on the game, I'm just like, okay, so it's like some kind of third-person shooter? Neat, you get items? Oh, it's a roguelike, okay. Third-person shooter, roguelike, getting items, awesome. Okay, and then I'm debugging it and testing stuff on and off, because, that's what I was doing. And then after a while, I'm like, hold on, I kind of like this game. So then I look up Risk of Rain 1 on Steam. I'm just like, okay, so what's the first one? Oh, it's a 2D platformer. Shit, they upgraded from 2D to 3D. Well, they debatably upgraded. Some people argue that Risk of Rain 1 is better. I don't have Risk of Rain 2 as of yet. I'm honestly planning on getting it for Switch. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. But I don't know why. But yeah, I got Risk of Rain 1 on Steam. I got some crisp Risk of Rain 1 gameplay for y'all. It's a very fun game. Very fun. The core of the game is just sort of, you know, as time passes, the game becomes more difficult. It's pretty neat. And the goal of the game is to just get a metric fuckload of items to the point where you become an unkillable death god. Just from having that many teddy bears and that many monster teeth. You know? And that many cans of gasoline, that kind of shit. You know, so you get just a shitload of items. You start getting just crazy amounts of buffs. But as, you know, time passes and you get to higher and higher difficulties, the enemies also get a lot harder. So it gets to the point where you kind of have to always be moving, or else you fucking die immediately. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you're an unkillable death god, but also if you stop paying attention for even a second, you are immediately fucking dead. Yeah. So I've been playing that recently, for a while. Maybe those lights aren't infrared. Yeah, I can see those lights, actually. I always thought those lights were infrared. I guess they're just pulsing at a frequency that my eye smooths out, but my camera doesn't, so like, you can see some, yeah. It's sort of like looking at things on a CRT. You know, if you're looking at a CRT, everything looks nice and smooth, but if you're recording it with a camera, then you see those scan lines. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's like that, but instead of lines on a CRT, it's blinking of those LEDs. When you look at it in real life, they don't look like they're blinking, because, you know, your eye averages shit. Moral of the story is, Risk of Rain 1's a good game. I had only managed to beat... So here's the thing, right? I've been trying to beat the game on normal difficulty for a while now. Turns out I'm fucking bad at video games, right? So, I'm playing the game. I'm playing as Commando. I'm playing on normal difficulty because I'm like, I'm not bad at video games. I can play this game on normal. And then I just get my shit pushed in. And I'm just like, okay, I have to play the game on easy for a bit. At least until I unlock characters that are not Commando. Because I kind of hate Commando. Is Commando even good? I don't think he's good. So I unlock fucking Enforcer and I unlock Bandit. And then I'm pretty good with both of them. But then I try to play on normal difficulty with the both of them. And then I just get my shit pushed in. And I'm just like, okay, there has to be one character. At least one fucking character. That I can actually play the game on normal difficulty with. So I'm playing the game. I'm unlocking shit. I got fucking Loader. I got fucking Acrid. That was scary, by the way. That was a scary experience. I was just all like, oh, hey, that box looks cool. I wonder if I can interact with that. Oh, Unleash the Beast? What does that mean? And you hit X on it, and then this thing comes out, and you're like, oh, and then you kill it, and you unlock it. Weirdly. Normally, when you kill things, they are dead and not unlocked, but, you know, whatever. I guess it's Smash Bros. Rules. Just for that one character, though, to the best of my knowledge. I think I still have 2 characters that I haven't unlocked yet. But yeah, so I unlocked a bunch of characters, and I was just all like, okay, I've tried playing on normal difficulty with all of these characters, and I get my shit pushed in. You know, I don't really feel confident in my ability to play with any of them. Like, I just get to a certain point, and enemies stop dying. Like, I can't do enough damage. I just need a character who does a lot of damage so that I can keep killing enemies when I get to higher and then I unlocked Sniper. And literally all of my problems were solved. And I was playing last night. That's what this gameplay footage is. If I remember to put the gameplay footage up, that's what the gameplay footage is. Is me playing Sniper on fucking normal difficulty. I tried a couple times, but the issue is that every single fucking time I don't get enough goddamn healing. Like, even in this one play session, the first game that I played, I didn't get enough fucking healing. So I get to the later rounds and it's like, oh god, I took some damage. oh, it's okay, I'm gonna heal. And then I go out to heal. Except guess what? I don't have enough fucking healing. I don't got enough monster teeth. I don't got enough mysterious vials. I don't got enough bustling fungus. I ain't got enough of that. Bustling fungus becomes useless, by the way. Well, not necessarily useless. Like I said, as you get later and later, standing still becomes just a death sentence. So, a healing item that requires you to stand still in order to heal is kind of mostly useless at later rounds. Super good for blood shrines, though. Like, bustling fungus is basically designed specifically so that you can win all the items from fucking blood shrines. It's great. Anyway, I got all the crazy goddamn items, I got all the shit. I got to the point where I was a motherfucking unkillable death god unless I stood still for too long. And then fucking, I beat the game on normal, and I did it, and I was like, yeah! And then I got to the results screen, and I unlocked nothing for it. And then I was just sitting there like, are you fucking serious? I would have thought that I would, like, unlock a new character for beating the game on normal, and then unlock the final locked character for beating it on hard. The difficulties aren't actually named easy, normal, and hard. They're all rain-themed. It's like drizzle, something, and downpour, maybe? I don't remember. So yeah, I fucking beat the game on normal, and then I got nothing for it, except, satisfaction, basically. Because the game's fucking hard. All those roguelikes are fucking hard. I was playing Dead Cells, and that game, you know, so the main issue, the big difference between something like a Dead Cells and a Risk of Rain is that in Dead Cells, collecting items is not particularly satisfying. You know what I mean? Like, you're going through, you find a weapon, and then you're just like, I already have a weapon. If I get this weapon, then it replaces my current weapon. That's not really satisfying. You can't really amass a collection that way. Or you get one of the upgrade scrolls. I'm probably gonna be late to work. It is raining out. I forgot that Washington people don't know how to drive in the rain. You would think, out of all the people in every place in the world, you would think that Washington people would know how to drive in the rain, given that it rains all the fucking time. But no! No! No one knows how to drive in the rain. They try to take corners at the same speeds that they normally do. They hydroplane. They smash their car into the fucking wall going down the goddamn slope on Mount Akina. And then they're just sitting there as it plays the sad Eurobeat. Moral of the story is, don't come to Washington. It's bad here. It's bad here. Everything's fucking expensive. They don't have income tax, so everything is underfunded. Like education. We're like in the top 10 for average income, but at the same time, we're in like the bottom 10 for education. It's really bad. It's not a good situation to be in. And then they wrote not having any income tax into the state constitution, and then we got to this point and it's like, ah shit. Not having an income tax is kind of fucking us. Like, Texas cannot have a fucking income tax. But at the same time, Texas could secede and become its own country. Like, they have a completely self-sustaining economy in Texas. Washington doesn't have that. We got computers and airplanes, and that's it. Moral of the story is, Risk of Rain's fun. You get items in Risk of Rain, and it's very fun. It's very fun getting items. Very fun hitting up the Blood Shrine and then getting 2 items. Very fun. Very fun game. They've managed to capitalize on the act of getting items and turn that into an enjoyable gameplay experience in and of itself, to the point where you're willing to put up with an increasingly difficult game, not necessarily because you enjoy the challenge, but because you want to get more items. It's very good. Quite a few of you play it already, actually. And for them, those of you out there, I mean, I'm saying that specifically, like, it was massively successful from what I read. But I'm saying that specifically, like, I got it. Then I was like, oh shit, like, 18 of my Steam friends already play Risk of Rain. That's cool. And to all y'all fucking Risk of Rain 2 on Switch. coming to Switch. It's coming at some point. I don't know when. It's not like I have some insider information or anything. And I'm not lying about that. Genuinely, I don't know when. Like, we just made the game work on console. We don't, like, that, the release date is up to Gearbox and Hopu. We don't have anything to do with that. So we don't, like, it's as much your guess as it is mine as to when the game's actually coming out. I don't know. Moral of the story is, Risk of Rain 2 for Switch. It's coming out to Switch. It's a fun time. When the fuck is the traffic going to be over? I mean, there has to be a point where this ends, right? Like, literally, I'm going 15 miles an hour on the freeway. This is 25% of the maximum speed, you know? And as we all know from everyone's favorite Spore playthrough, and by playthrough I mean speedrun, entitled Spore Speedrun, as we all know, the opposite of fast is also the opposite of good in literally all cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get a new CPU. If it's not fast, then it's not good. And then you read online about all these people who are all like, oh yeah, I overclocked my CPU to fucking 78 gigahertz. And that's pretty good. By the way, CPUs are kind of fucked up at this point. Like, we're kind of hitting the limit of physics where we can't really make CPUs that much faster. As it turns out, like 5 to 6 gigahertz is kind of as fast as they get, physically. We are hitting the limit when it comes to how fast computers can run. GPUs can get faster. It'll be really cool once we get fucking graphics cards that can run in the gigahertz range. Because currently graphics cards actually still run in megahertz. The reason why they can render things so quickly is because they got a hell of a lot of cores in them. You know? That's the thing. You know, it's graphics cards are essentially the divide and conquer approach taken to their natural extreme. You know what I mean? Like, each individual core runs at, I don't know, a couple hundred megahertz. I don't remember how fast GPUs run. 300? 300 megahertz? I don't know. I don't recall. So they run pretty slow. You know, less than 1 gigahertz. Compared to fucking CPUs, which at this point, I think low-end CPUs run at 4 gigahertz. Which, you know, is 40 times faster. Well, not 40 times. It's over 10 times faster than your graphics card. So then why is a graphics card fast? Answer's very simple. You know, your CPU's got 4 cores, or 6 cores, or 8 cores, or 22 cores. If you got one of those CPUs that cost like $20,000, I looked at that and I was all like, what the fuck? 22 cores? That's crazy! That's fucking insane! Yeah, you got one of those, it's got a small number of cores. Your graphics card, on the other hand, has got, I don't know, it's got a lot of them. Like 64? Something like 64 seems correct. Something like that. It's got a lot of cores, right? It's got a lot of cores. And the idea there is that graphics cards are used for rendering things to a screen, you know? So if you're rendering a triangle to the screen, which, you know, most things are made of triangles, so you're rendering fucking just whatever the hell to the screen. You render a triangle to the screen, it determines which pixels are inside that triangle, and then, you know, it's like, okay, so I've got 130 pixels in this triangle, alright? Normally that would be a slow thing, but then it takes those 64 cores, splits up the work evenly, and then that 133 pixel triangle has the computation time of a 3 pixel triangle. Because you got 64 cores, right? So you divide 133 by 64, divides the work up, and then you get something over 3, you round up, right? So, you know, 133 divided by 64 is 2 point something or other. It's higher than 2, but it's less than 3. And that rounds up to 3. So, you got 3 batches of fragments that get processed. So you've got, the computation time of 3 pixels. Which is a lot less than the computation time of 133 pixels. So like I said, it's the divide and conquer approach, taken to its natural extreme. And that's why graphics cards can run fast. It's because they take a bunch of work and split it up. Like if you have a bunch of work and you can multi-thread it on the CPU, and you split it up so that it runs on 2 cores, then it's gonna run twice as fast, sort of. Not really. You get diminishing returns when it comes to multi-threading, because there's a certain amount of overhead that comes with managing all of those different jobs. You know what I mean? The difference between general purpose multi-threading and GPU multi-threading is that the GPU is designed to do one goddamn thing, so it can do that one goddamn thing pretty damn efficiently. If you got a whole bunch of cores and you split up all the work so that they're all doing pixel shading, then that's all there is to it. You just send out all the work and then you wait for them to be done. You don't gotta coordinate memory. I mean, you do sometimes. You don't gotta coordinate memory. You don't gotta do all this complicated stuff that you would have to do in general purpose multi-threading on the CPU, where you've got like radically different systems that you need to coordinate. Like in most game engines, you got your main thread, where your stuff happens. You got your physics thread, where your physics happens. You got your graphics thread that doesn't really do any graphics rendering. Rather, the main thread sends jobs off to the graphics thread, and then the graphics thread tells the GPU what to do. So that way, it's sort of like a fire and forget thing, On your main thread, your main thread goes out and is all like, "Hey, graphics thread, I got some work for you. Here you go." And the graphics thread's all like, "Okay." And then the graphics thread goes down to the GPU and is all like, "Hey, GPU, here, draw this thing." And then it has to wait for the GPU to draw the thing. And then it gets back and the GPU's all like, "Hey, I'm done with the thing." And then the graphics thread's all like, "Okay, now draw this thing." And then GPU's all like, "Okay." And then it waits, and then you get back to you being all like, "Okay, I drew the thing." And then for GPU threads, okay, okay, now draw this, so on and so forth. There's a bit of a delay because you're communicating between the GPU. So your graphics card is more or less a completely different, it's like a completely separate computer, typically. In certain systems that have a unified memory architecture, then the CPU and the GPU actually share RAM. But in a regular PC, in a regular-ass PC, your NVIDIA 1080 that you slapped in your PC, it's basically a completely separate computer in and of itself. It has its own little motherboard in there, it has its own RAM, it has its own processors, obviously. So basically, when your CPU is communicating with your GPU, it's less like you have a special component in your PC, and more like you have a separate computer that you are networking with. So you have to deal with similar sorts of issues with, arranging draw calls between the CPU and the GPU. You got similar sorts of issues that you got when you're doing networking between, let's say you're making a multiplayer game. Similar sorts of issues communicating the 2 players on a multiplayer game that you get with communicating between your graphics card and your main computer. The big difference being that the latency between 2 players is orders of magnitude greater than the latency between your CPU and your graphics card. It's cool, by the way. All of this is cool. Leave a comment down below if it's cool. Like, comment, and subscribe, everybody. I gotta hit 20 million subscribers by the end of summer, or else my mom says she won't buy me Halo 3 for PC. Halo 3 isn't out on PC. It will be, though, because, hey, fuck, I forgot! Master Chief Collection's coming to PC! It's gonna be great! I'm pretty sure there's an option that you can toggle that puts the crosshair in the center of the screen, instead of slightly below the center of the screen. Why do game devs do that? Who the fuck thought to themselves, hey, we're gonna put the crosshair a little bit lower than the center of the screen, so when your muscle memory for aiming in video games tells you to put the fucking center of the screen over the enemy, you end up shooting them in the dick instead of the head. Because your crosshair's lower than the center of the screen for some reason. I don't know. Do any games other than... Well, Outer Worlds does it. Do any games other than Halo do that? Oh, and Destiny, obviously. Every Bungie game does that at this point. Thankfully, frickin' 343 Industries thought to themselves, why? And stopped doing that in the Halos. I don't know if Halo 4 had the weird off-center crosshair. It probably did. I think it did. But Halo 5 doesn't. Halo 5, they put the crosshair in the center of the screen like a regular person. I don't know, it's... Like, whenever you have the crosshair off to the side like you do in your Halos and whatnot, whenever you aim at someone, it always felt like you were aiming at your peripheral vision, you know what I mean? Like your head was tilted upwards and you were still looking forward, you know? Like, just keep looking forward at the screen, but then tilt your head upwards, about 45 degrees. That's what it feels like when you're aiming in the Halos. To me, anyway. It's like, I can't really aim very effectively like this. I don't like it. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. Which is why it was great in Destiny 2 when they made the PC port, or the PC version of the game, and then you play the game and you go in the options and you're all like, alright, what kind of graphics options we go? Send crosshair in the center of the screen, that's an option? And then you turn that on, and it's so much fucking better. It is so much fucking better with that option turned on. It is the best option in the game. Turn on crosshair center of the screen. It's a damn shame that that option doesn't exist on console. It's also a damn shame that Destiny 2 is not super spectacularly great or anything. Technically speaking, it's probably my favorite shooter. But only technically. You know? The game controls absolutely flawlessly. It is the smoothest handling first-person shooter that I have ever played. But at the same time, the rest of the game makes me want to die. You know what I mean? Like, there's very little content overall. They never solved that issue. They never really solved the issue of not having enough content in the game. You know? Like, they want to have an MMO scale game, but then the amount of time and effort that gets put into each individual thing is too much for having an MMO scale game, you know? Like, if you think back to World of Warcraft, what do all the dungeons have? A lot of reusable assets, a lot of just text with NPCs, you know, a lot of stuff that can be designed by just a designer with assets. You know, doesn't need to hit up the art department for more new assets. I mean, maybe they do periodically, but you know, a lot of reusable stuff. They didn't need to go out and get new assets for every single thing. They don't need to schedule time with the voice actors to get all the voicing in the game. They don't need any of that. You know, they can just make a new I mean, they do. They do have to schedule some time with the voice actors. But even then, in World of Warcraft, most of the voice actors were just the same handful of people. You know, sort of like how Bethesda does things. Same handful of people. They're just all like they go up to the one woman that they get to do all the girl voices. And then they're just all like, hey, we got a villain in Shadowfang Keep. So we need you to do like an evil voice, and we need you to say, oh, bunch of wolves. And then she's all like, okay. And then they record her doing that, and it takes like 5 minutes. Something like that. But no, with Destiny 2, you know, every single strike mission, every single quest, it's gotta have frickin' character voicing, and there's some custom animation in some cases. They gotta get Nolan North in. I do not know. So here's another thing. I really feel like Destiny 2 wouldn't have the sort of content issues that they do if first off, like I said, you know, more reusable assets, and then second off, if they didn't have frickin' celebrity voice actors, you know what I mean? It's not that I'm dissatisfied with the voice acting quality of anyone in Destiny 2. No, they're actually quite all right at this point. You know, The issue with the first game was that the writing was not there at all. It wasn't writing. So you had a bunch of characters with technically good voices that were about as interesting as a brick. But then, you know, in the later expansions, supposedly, I didn't play any of the later expansions because I had dropped the game by that point. But, you know, by later expansions, supposedly the story got better, voice acting got better, the writing got better, everything got better because Bungie realized what they wanted to do. Which is good. Jesus, I am 8 minutes away and I still have like 10 miles to go. That's not ideal. Like I mentioned, I don't know. Working in the games industry is pretty good because no one likes getting up in the morning. So, you know, if you just show up approximately on time, everything's good. It's like, oh, you got here at 10:43 instead of 10:30? Oh well. You just stay an extra 10 minutes later. Oh no. Oh, the horror. What was I gonna say? But yeah. So they got all these fancy celebrity voice actors, and they do a great job. The issue is that, you know, they can't exactly bring them in to do whatever. So if they want to design a handful of new strikes, they can't really. You know, they can't really design a handful of new strikes. Just on account of the fact... Oh yeah, also enemy design. That's another issue. That's another issue with making new strikes. In friggin' World of Warcraft, you know, NPCs have abilities, but aside from that, enemies basically have the same AI all around. You know? The same sort of AI, it's just like, oh, you know, just do this. But with every single strike, you know, they got a strike boss, and they got to program new AI behavior. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know how the AI is set up in Destiny 2, but each boss has unique behavior. You know, they can't just reuse the same basic AI from whatever the hell. They gotta be all like, okay, so AI, you stay close for this, and then you get far away for this, and so on and so forth. A lot of that stuff can be automated, actually. If you just go in and you specify, hey, this attack has a preferential range of 10 meters, but technically functions at any range between 2 and 20 meters. And then the AI will try to get 10 meters away to use the attack, but is capable of using it at any of those ranges in between. It doesn't need to know what the attack is, it just knows that it wants to be at this specific range, but can be at any range, and then calls the attack.go function. And then that instantiates whatever effects that it needs, does all the sorts of stuff, plays the animations, so on and so forth. It's pretty good. You know? It's pretty good. Moral of the story is, Destiny 2's got content issues. They don't got enough content. And then they make shaders one-time reusable things. Not reusable, one-time non-reusable things. The opposite of what I said. One-time use things. That's the words that I'm trying to say with my mouth. They make them one-time use things, and then you get them from freaking loot boxes. Why are there loot boxes in Destiny 2? Why are there loot boxes in every game? They should get rid of loot boxes. Just get them out of there. When's the frickin' Supreme Court gonna crack down on loot boxes? They're talking about, oh, you know, violent video games or whatever the hell. No, they gotta crack down on goddamn loot boxes. You know? There's no scientific whatever the hell about video games causing violence and fucking anybody. But there's a hell of a lot of evidence showing that fucking loot boxes and gambling in video games have a significant adverse effect on the mental health of those who are susceptible or who have like an addictive gambling, whatever the fuck going on. It's not great. It's not great. You know, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy a good loot box every once in a while. You know, you open it up, it does the flashy colors and lights, and you're like, yeah! And then you get 3 whites and a blue, and you're just all like, I want to die! You know? It's fun every once in a while, but when every fucking game has loot boxes, and it's like, oh god, I just want to enjoy... Every game becomes a chore to play at that point. Because it's not just, oh, I can play and enjoy the game. It's, oh, I play and enjoy the game, and if I want to get any of the cool-looking stuff, I have to drop a bunch of money into the loot boxes, and then maybe I don't even get it. That sucks. those sort of even as someone who's not like, who doesn't have a gambling problem, friggin', it's just a huge pain every time I play one of the new games, and it's like, oh hey, loot boxes. It's like, God, no, stop. You know? I'm only willing to put up with loot boxes in games that I really enjoy, you know, because it's like, okay, this is one of the main games that I'm invested in, so loot boxes, whatever, you know, okay, I'm willing to put up with that. But if I'm just going into it like, oh, hey, I wonder what Star Wars Battlefront's deal is, I go into it, loot boxes, like, I don't care enough about this game to deal with loot boxes. That's what it boils down to, is that I don't care enough. So I've missed out on quite a few games at this point, because they have loot boxes, and then I boot them up, and then I'm just like, fuck, God. And then Randy Pitchford comes out and is all like, hey, there aren't gonna be any microtransactions in Borderlands 2. And then there are, and then he actually meant to say loot boxes. That's the issue with the whole, you know, shifting the line thing. Like, microtransactions used to mean just, you know, microtransactions in general. You pay a small amount of money for a small thing, you know? And then you just do those en masse, and, you know, you get nickel and dimed by the game, basically, right? Like when you boot up Gears of War 2, and then you go in, and then it's all like, oh, good, you're gonna go chainsaw some people with your gun. Give us $4 and we'll make your gun pink. It's like, what? Okay. Whatever, I don't care about that. I never liked Gears of War. I never liked Gears of War at all. You know? I don't like third-person shooters in general, except for Risk of Rain 2 on Switch, but that's not a multiplayer third-person shooter. I don't like multiplayer third-person shooter. Well, Risk of Rain 2 is multiplayer, but it's co-op multiplayer. You know what I'm talking about. I don't like Gears of War. That's what I'm trying to get at here. I don't like Gears of War. Oh shit. I gotta move over. I gotta stay on the freeway. These right lanes exit off of the freeway and go into Seattle. I gotta be in the left lanes so that, oh, this guy's trying to move over. Alright, get in the lane, friend. Yeah. But yeah, I never liked Gears of War. I don't like I was just explaining, I don't like third-person shooters, multiplayer third-person shooters in general. Because I could just be playing Call of Duty or Battlefield, but instead I'm playing Gears of War. No one wants that. And then they got that weird reload system where you gotta like time your reload, and then if you time it correctly, your guy... I wouldn't mind the timed reload system if your guy didn't overly excitedly just congratulate himself every time he reloads good. You do a reload and then Marcus Phoenix is all like, yes, I reloaded! And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I can understand, you know, cursing a little under your breath if you fuck up, like, god damn it, god. Okay. But if you do well, why does your guy go like, yeah! I know it's because he's a fucking steroid-juiced, muscled fuck, but still, it's kind of ridiculous. I say that, yet by my own admission, my favorite character, the only character that I can play in Risk of Rain, is the only character that has a timed reload mechanic. You're playing sniper, you shoot once, and then it does the reload bar thing, where there's a bar, and you have to press the reload button, which is just the shoot button in Risk of Rain. You press the shoot button when the bar is above the white part on the bar. If it's above the gray part, then that's also pretty good, but it's not the best. If it's above the rest of it, then, you know, it's basically just the same as it was. That doesn't affect reload time, though. It's just you get bonus damage if you reload good in Risk of Rain. Which, man, let me tell you, after a 2-hour play session, I freaking... like, my trigger finger starts to ache a little bit after a 2-hour play session of just spamming the trigger, just being all like, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot. Except it's not really shoot, reload, it's like shooting and then jumping and then reloading and shoot and jump and reload. Because if you stand still, then you die. So you shoot, you jump to avoid any melee attacks on the ground, You reload while you're in midair. You point towards the crowd of enemies that you just jumped over. You shoot. You reload. You point towards the crowd of enemies. Shoot, reload, jump, point, shoot, jump, reload, point, shoot, jump, reload, etc., etc. I'm sure you've noticed there are several times during the gameplay where I've been walking in a direction and I do a backflip in the opposite direction. Like I'm walking to the right and then I'll backflip to the left. The issue with Sniper's left bumper ability, his dodge backflip, is that it only backflips backwards. So if you flick the stick in the opposite direction real quick, like you're walking to the right, if you quick turn to the left and then do a backflip, you can get a bit of a speed boost, you know? But if you fuck up, you know, you don't flick the stick enough, or you flick it too fast or whatever, then you just end up going backwards and then fucking yourself. I do that a couple times. I also accidentally start charging my snipe shot a couple times while facing the wrong goddamn way. And again, that's just because you can't change what direction you're facing once you start the charge shot. So I'll flick the stick towards the enemies, except it won't register because I didn't flick it enough, I guess. I don't know. And then I'll start aiming towards a wall or something, and I'll just be like, God fucking damn it. God damn it. I don't know. Moral of the story is third-person shooters bad. Fucking Risk of Rain good. Risk of Rain 2 coming to Switch. What is my average speed for this trip, Ben? Let me see here. 31 miles an hour. Yeah, my average speed for this trip has been 28 miles an hour, and I've been on the freeway. That's pretty fucked. Typically, your average speed on the freeway is gonna be, 60 at least. Maybe a bit lower than that, because this is Washington, and Washington is fucked. But, this was whatever. Yeah, it's 10:34. Technically late for work now. I think I've only been, super on time for work 3 times. That's the thing, my commute's very long. So, basically, the longer your commute is, the more time you spend on the freeway, the more opportunity you get for variation. You know what I mean? Like, if traffic's bad, particular sections could take you up to 5 times as long, 5 to 10 times as long to get through, And on average, you don't get that much, but, the longer you go, the more opportunity you have to get fucked, is what it boils down to, alright? Am I even close to the exit that I need to be on? I don't know. That's I-90. I'm also behind a truck. That's the thing, so I can't really see ahead very well. Oh well. Moral of the story is, I already said moral of the story. Moral of the story is, what the hell was I gonna say? At this point, I'm just tired. How long have I been recording? I don't know. How long? I don't know. The timer is very small on my phone. So if I look down at my phone, I'm driving, so I just want to glance down at it quick and then glance back up. Like how you don't want to stare. If you're checking your blind spot because you're trying to move over, you don't want to just turn around and then stare at your blind spot. You want to do a quick look. It's like that. You do a quick look down at your phone to see what the timer's at, except the timer is in very small text, so I can't actually see. Hopefully that Risk of Rain 2 gameplay I got is gonna be long enough. I mean, literally, the second game that I got went on for almost 2 hours, and this definitely has not taken 2 hours. So, you're not actually gonna see the end. I'm gonna have a bit of excess, maybe for the next car vlog extravaganza. Everybody loves car vlog. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like car vlog. Car vlog is difficult Because on one hand, you know, it's easy, but on the other hand, the audio quality is fucking garbage. Gotta move over now. Yeah, boy. I'm moved over now, and we're not behind the truck. The guy behind me moved over into the lane to the right of us super fast, so I think he might have been trying to pass me or some shit. Except I also needed to move into the right lane. So it was like we sort of synchronized, shifted over, is what it was. You know? Driving is complicated. It's not really that complicated. If you're one of the youngins and you don't got your driver license yet, it's not complicated. Like literally, you turn a wheel to change what direction you're going in, and then you push down on one of the pedals in order to make more fast. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. It's not complicated in the slightest. I've had friends who are just terrified of driving. Like my friend Rainer, back from DigiPen. He was just terrified. He couldn't drive on the freeway. You know? Because you go fast on the freeway, and, you know, you can't deal with it. Like, I get it, it's a stressful situation. Especially if you're scared of freeway driving, Washington is not the place to learn how to freeway drive, because the freeways here in Washington are garbage. Fucking trash. It's like that thing from Always Sunny or whatever, where Danny DeVito is the trash man. Oh boy, that guy got pulled over. Who could have guessed? Or did he crash? I don't know. He did something. Like I've said, every single fucking time on the way to work, you see at least one person who is either crashed or pulled over. Because the people in Washington don't know how to fucking drive. So they just sort of do whatever the hell. They go too fast, they get pulled over. They go badly, and then they crash into another car. And then there's a slowdown on the freeway, because everybody's got to stop and look at the person who crashed the car, being all like, oh, that person crashed their vehicle. That automobile has an injury upon it. I must slow down and look. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're in the lane right next to the crash, you are supposed to slow down. You know, going 60 miles an hour next to people who are out of a car on the side of the road is not safe. So you are supposed to slow down, but fucking 5 miles an hour? 5 miles an hour slow? No. None of that. Like, first off, you're supposed to move over. You're not, I mean, like, if someone's off on the side of the road, you're supposed to move over so that you're not in the lane right next to them. And then second off, you're supposed to go a bit slower, but not fucking 5 miles an hour. Not 5 miles an hour. No, that's redonkulous, as they say, as the teens say. What is the new hip slang? That's the question. You know? All these young people going to high school with their yeet, and they're thinking that iPhones are better than Androids. I'm not saying that Androids are better than iPhones. I'm just saying that iPhones at this point are fashion products rather than good phones. Like, if you're getting an iPhone, you're getting it because you want to get an iPhone. You're not getting it because you're looking for a good phone. Not that iPhones are bad. You know, they're okay. I'm not saying that people are just getting garbage hardware because it's got the Apple name on it or anything. You know, iPhones are okay, but there are way better Android phones out there. You know? Like the OnePlus 7 Pro. OnePlus 7 Pro is better than the freaking iPhones that they got out now. Never settle. Hashtag. I hate that fucking tagline so much. I already went over that. Shkabadee-badoo. But yeah. Frickin' iPhones. I don't know. There are people who'll just live and die by the iPhone. Like, they'll be streaming, and they'll go on Twitch, and they'll be all like, bro, I don't know why anyone gets an Android phone. Like, iPhones they're all you need. You know, they do everything you need. You don't need anything more than an iPhone. It's like, okay, yeah, but at the same time, you could just get a different phone. You know? If you don't want to get a phone that's just gonna be just gonna be deprecated in a year anyway. It's like, oh boy, I got the iPhone 8. And then the iPhone 9 comes out. And it's like, oh, okay. Did the iPhone 9 come out? I don't think it did. I don't remember. Did they go from 8 directly to the iPhone X? I might be getting iPhones confused with Windows operating systems, where they went directly from 8 to 10. It was the funniest thing. I read online, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I read online that they went from Windows 8 to Windows 10 because of legacy code in a lot of Microsoft programs that check for Windows 95 and Windows 98 by checking to see if the operating system's name in text form contains the text Windows 9. Because, you know, if it has Windows 9 in the name, then it's either Windows 98 or Windows 95. You know, one of the two. Something like that. So they can't have Windows 9. Because if they have Windows 9, then a bunch of legacy programs will think, hey, I'm running on Windows 95. Because the name has Windows 9 in it. They didn't think of that one. That's the thing. They should have just bit the bullet and checked to see if the name was Windows 95 or if the name was Windows 98. It is more string comparisons. It is double the number of string comparisons. But unless you're doing that very frequently, which I don't think you are, you would only be doing that once during initialization, I think. Unless you're doing that very frequently, there's basically no reason not to. But yeah, I don't know if that's actually true. That's just what I read online. So, you know, take that with an entire fucking salt shaker's worth of salt. But yeah. Yeah, they're just people who'll be all like, oh man, iPhones are so great. I don't know why anyone gets Androids. You don't need Android. Like, that's what I don't get about the iPhone people, is that they just dismiss the existence of phones that are not iPhones. You know what I mean? Dismissing the existence of Windows Phone is one thing, but being all like, oh, there doesn't need to be other phones. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. Like, oh, I want Apple to be the only company that makes phones. There should be no competition. There should be nothing driving Apple to be better, other than Apple's own, you know, personal need to feel like they gotta innovate. This guy's trying to move over. I'll let you in, guy. If this guy doesn't let you in, then I'll let you in, guy. Here you go, friend. Here you go. But yeah, that's the thing. When you got a bunch of different phone companies in the phone industry, you know, they're all making phones, right? Okay, I'm just gonna swoosh forward. Yeah, you got all these different companies in the phone industry. You know, they're all making different innovations. They're all making improved hardware. And then when you have a bunch of competitors in the industry, you know, ideas sort of spread around. They spread. You know, ideas spread. So like some Android phone manufacturer like Samsung will come up with a thing, and then, you know, Apple will be like, oh, we should do that. And then Apple does the thing. They give it a stupid name, but it's the same thing. Fucking Apple will come out with something, and then Samsung will be all like, oh, hey, that's cool, we should do that. And then Samsung does the thing, ideas spread, you know, if you have multiple things going on. So I don't understand the idea that iPhones, or like Apple, is the only phone manufacturer that should exist. You know, that's just dumb. Like, these iPhone people are just all like, why would you get an Android? It's like, because I don't know. Also, I don't like iPhones. That's just an opinion thing. That's just an opinion, though. You know, if you have an iPhone, I don't give a shit. You go ahead and enjoy your iPhone. But at the same time, I'm not gonna come out and say, hey, iPhones shouldn't exist because Samsung makes good phones. I'm not gonna do that. Because that would be dumb as shit. Why would you do that? Now, the issue that we got going on is that there's construction in the little alleyway that I drive through to get to work. And they closed down the alleyway, so I have to go through a different way. The issue is that the north and south exits of the thing are, they're in little one-way alleyways, you know? So they're one way, The issue is that people oftentimes do not follow the one-wayness of the one-way. So, like, I went to go in, I went to go to work the other day, and I was going through the one-way alleyways. Here they come. Here come the one-way alleyways. I was going through them, and then there was... See what I'm fucking saying? See what I'm fucking saying? You didn't see jack shit because the camera's not pointed forward. But, are you fucking serious? God, okay. Actually, no, that guy's going the correct way. What am I talking about? Yeah, so I went to turn around the corner. There was a guy going the wrong way down the one way around the corner. If I was going full speed and not being overly cautious about people going around the corner, I would have just crashed into him. It says fucking one way. You go one way. You do it. The reason why I go down this way and not the one on the other end is because it's one way. If I go down the other end, I would be going the opposite direction down a one-way road. It's stupid. It's stupid and bad. So yeah, cliff notes for today. I am now at work, so I'm gonna park my car and I'm gonna shut the video off. Cliff notes for today. Risk of Rain 2 coming to Switch. Crosshairs should be in the center of the screen. And people who think that phones other than iPhones don't need to exist are... I don't understand them. I don't know why they say that. I don't know why they say that. Like, oh, there shouldn't be any variety because iPhone does everything that you need it to. It's like, yeah, but there should still be variety? I don't know. So how much time? Jesus, over an hour. Maybe that hour and 20... Oh, wait, no, it was an hour and 20 minutes. I always get an hour and 20 minutes mixed up with 120 minutes. So I think the Risk of Rain gameplay that I had might actually be about as long as this video. Point is, I'm gonna hit stop. Good night, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, I said.